Hey, are you considering a move to Mexico? Maybe even Mexico City? Well then this is the video for you. Today I'm going to talk about what you can expect in terms of rent, apartments, data for your phone, and of course groceries. I'm also going to cover some other general expenses as I take you around the neighborhood for some errands. Sounds good? And let's get into it. Since I'm here at home, first of all, I do want to give you the grand tour of my abode. I'm actually here on the roof where my neighbors like to hang their laundry. And then here from the roof, you will enter my little apartment. It's gonna be a very quick tour. So let's get in here. First things first, I found this apartment on Airbnb and it cost me $452. I got it for a month. Always try to get that monthly discount on Airbnb because it really goes a long way. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be spending another month in this apartment, but if I do, I'm going to speak to the owner and try to get him to rent it off Airbnb, and maybe I can get him down to $425, possibly even $400. And let me preface this tour by saying that this apartment is very far out from the center of Mexico City where all the foreigners tend to move to, but I'll talk a little more on that later. So this is the general kitchen area. It is integrated with the living room, unfortunately. Pretty decent sized fridge, not a regular size. The only thing that actually bothers me is the freezer space. Other than that, I've got enough space for everything. And I do have a gas stove, which I prefer, and a blender is always useful as well. Now, the one thing I do hate about this kitchen area is the water pressure. I actually just timed how long it takes to fill this cup, and I won't bore you, but it takes 30 seconds to fill a cup, and that's way too much in my book. So while we're on the subject of kitchen stuff, I quickly want to talk about how much groceries cost here in Mexico. I've been doing my shopping at Walmart, which I can walk to from here. I've only been twice now, but I've spent an average of $42 each time. So if you want to round that up to $200 a month, I think that gives you a pretty good idea of how much you will be spending in groceries here in Mexico. Okay, from the kitchen area, it doesn't take you very long to get to the bathroom. And in general, this bathroom serves me well. It does have hot water, which I am very excited about since I haven't had that in most countries in Central America. The water pressure in the shower is surprisingly okay, but the jets come out in all directions, so it's definitely not the perfect bathing experience. And unfortunately, the sink in the bathroom has the same exact problem as the kitchen where the water pressure is extremely low, but whatever, I can still use it. I'm now chilling here on the couch where I do spend a lot of my time. It's a pretty good couch for napping and watching some movies and stuff. I quickly want to talk about the internet in this apartment, which has been very, very good. I have not had one problem with it since I arrived, and it's pretty fast. So I am thankful for that because I have had some very spotty internet in the last months traveling through Central and South America. Also, my workstation, I do appreciate this very big table, pretty decent sized TV with Netflix and YouTube and everything. And I'm sure you've noticed this door here, but it's actually locked and I can't get out onto the balcony. I'll show you the balcony from the bedroom, so let's head into the bedroom. As you can see, it is a pretty standard bedroom, nothing to write home about, but the most important part, the bed is pretty comfy, so no real complaints about the bedroom. It has served my needs pretty well. And here from the bedroom, I can open the window onto the balcony. I guess I could climb out the window and chill on the balcony if I wanted to, but that really hasn't been the case lately. Okay, now that we're about to leave the apartment, I quickly want to talk about data for your phone. As soon as I arrived at the airport here in Mexico City, I got a SIM card with a carrier called Telcel, and I believe that cost me $12, and it had 1 week's worth of data attached to it. After the first week ran out, I got another 13 days of data, and that cost me $4. And now we're gonna go out to run some errands. Let me show you my clothing bag here. So the first thing we're gonna do is see how much it costs to wash clothing here in Mexico. So let's head out and I'll show you some of the neighborhood. But first I gotta get down these winding stairs, which is always a challenge. I live in this sort of apartment complex kind of thing, and I have to go down about 2 flights of winding stairs to make it out. So what's cool is that I live in this kind of like cul-de-sac kind of street, which means it is extremely safe and also very quiet, which is definitely not the case in a lot of countries in Latin America and Central America. So it's been quite peaceful actually living on this street. And here on the corner you have lavanderia, so you have a laundry place. I'm actually not going to that one because I think the reviews weren't that good. There's also a lady that makes quesadillas on the corner. I haven't tried her stuff and it's pretty good. About 22 pesos for a quesadilla. Pretty good deal. I also have this pharmacy behind me called Farmacias Guadalajara, and they are 24 hours and they are just right in front of my apartment. So whenever I need some more like emergency stuff like water or coffee, I just walk for 2 minutes and grab some at the pharmacy, which is kind of weird. Not all pharmacies have food, but they do, so great. I also have this nice little park. It's just a 5-minute walk from my house, and it may not be huge or anything. Oh, spiderweb in my face. But it's definitely nice to get out of my small apartment every now and again and come here and just listen to a podcast for an hour or so and then go back home. I just dropped off the clothing. It was 2.5 kilos of clothes and that only cost me $3, and I go back in 2 days to pick it up. So I want to go back to the housing issue for a bit. If you're planning on coming to Mexico City, just know that the prices right now are super inflated since Americans have decided it's a great place to live. And I've been using Airbnb, which unfortunately makes the prices even higher. But I guess that's just the price I was willing to pay for an easy and immediate solution. There are local websites that you can try and look at, like Segunda Mano, but you usually need to put in a deposit and you have to have a bondsman and things like that. So I think we all know that's definitely not my situation right now. You should, however, join some Facebook groups, like for example, Foreigners in Mexico City, because there are a lot of people subletting apartments, which I just learned the other day is apparently illegal here, but it still happens on the reg. Neighborhoods like Roma, Condesa, and Polanco are extremely popular right now, therefore highly gentrified and packed with Americans. If you're on a low budget like me, honestly, don't even bother looking in those areas, because to find anything decent, you're gonna have to fork up around $1,000, which, as you know, is more than double what I pay for my apartment. But you know, those neighborhoods are losing their Mexican identity with each passing day. And Mexico City has around 350 neighborhoods to choose from, so you will find cheaper options the further you go out of the city center. I think the quality of life where I live is actually just fine. It is cheaper than those neighborhoods I was just talking about, and it does feel a lot more like Mexico. That said, I do like to meet other foreigners every now and again, and if I want to attend any of the events that are happening in the city center, I have to spend around $15 each way on Ubers. So I really have to pick and choose my social gatherings, which is a definite downside, especially for someone that just arrived to Mexico like moi. Well, it's just about lunchtime and I've been eyeing this chicken place nearby where apparently you can get a full broiled chicken, which should last me a few days. Let's go see how much that is. And I love that on the corner of my place, there's this little pastry stand where you can get incredibly cheap pastries. They're like 10 pesos. So I'm gonna go grab a Nutella one right now. I'm just gonna go back in. Funnily enough, I left the apartment today with a bag of dirty laundry, and I'm coming back with a whole broiled chicken, and I'm out of breath because I had to go up the windy stairs again. So a full chicken and a Nutella pastry. The chicken was a little less than $7 and the pastry was 50 cents. That will be my dessert for tonight. And what's funny is he cuts up the chicken for you and he adds in like onions and chilies and apparently what seemed to be like sausages or hot dogs. Pretty good deal for $7. Okay, I've got my pollo and I am ready for lunch. So I arrived here in Mexico about 15 days ago, which meant I got to enjoy the Day of the Dead, and that was definitely a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And wouldn't you know, I made a video about it, so just click on the video that's on your screen now, and I'll see you at Dia de los Muertos. See you over there. 3, 2, 1.